I asked him for screenshots. He said he wouldn't give me anything because it was a private conversation. But he gave me the employee ID number of the person from Optisu.
Okay.
the strangers. Believe me when I say, loving me is loving danger. lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind. I go where the wind blows. I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering the name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. 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 I'm a
Good evening, guys. Welcome to yet another Saturday night. Sunday night? No, it's Sunday night now, isn't it? Sunday night stream. So obviously, guys, we are in the Discord chat once again with obviously Satellite of Discontent. Feel free to join us if you want to jump into the show, within reason, air quotes. But yeah, and obviously I'll also try and get one of my other mates to jump in as well. But yeah, basically it's going to be a bit of a chilled stream tonight. We're going to talk about Portland Ethe. We're going to talk about the House Committee, where Trey Gowdy reached 9,000 on the scale and went nuclear on basically the House Intelligence Committee. And there's a few other things that we'll probably end up talking about. So it won't be 2 hours. Hopefully it'll be just under the 2 hour mark. And obviously we'll be reading out any chats or anything like that along the way. Also, guys, we have hit monetization. Yay! Thank you, Israel, for those shekels. So look, at the end of the day, obviously, yeah, you can go through. You can send a super chat to me, and obviously I will read those out within reason, yet again. But yeah, yeah, feel free to send a chat if you want, and support the stream, I suppose. I don't know. It's that, or I'm going to have to start taking up prostitution. I don't know. Could go either way. Let's find out. So obviously, guys, with us is Satellite of Discontent. How are you, Satellite? What's new?
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
The first 2 seconds of screaming was, I'm still buzzing.
Oh, stop it, will ya? Where is? I am trying to find. So, where is everybody from the Discord? Why is the Discord relatively empty?
It's dead. It's been dead all day.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah, it's just us.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
even So is there like a service split or something that we don't know about, or?
Probably. There's something I definitely don't know about it.
No. Okay. All right. Well, interesting. So, me and Satellite supposedly, and Bomb and Slime is also in this Discord server. But yeah, interesting. Okay. So yeah, I was going to invite to see if Officer Slaps wants to jump in, but yeah, something's going on with Discord that's kind of funky. yeah, anyway, let's jump straight into it. So obviously I presume everybody has heard about Portland Antifa. It's quite funny because Antifa got BTFO'd out of Portland. But let's go through and have a look. So, I should probably be recording this, shouldn't I, as well? The one I want to see is very fake news, because they have actually put up a 4K version of what actually went down.
4K? Wow.
Yeah.
Antifa getting wrecked in 4K, that's awesome.
That was my thoughts exactly. 4K Battle of Portland. So we can watch Antifa getting knocked the F out on 4K. Because that sounds like a good idea to me.
Well, I mean, I look forward to World War III being in 8K 3D.
Yeah, we might bring on the end of the world, but hey, at least it'll be an 8K. So I will go
VR. VR could be something we could enjoy with that too.
Yeah. Well, could be World War III. Whoa, okay. So what I want to do is give you a copy of that. Oops. And I'll post that in Discord and that. Oops. Wrong one. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So, yep, okay. We just got everybody back. Everybody's back in here again now. The server's full again. Must have been a temporary split. Officer Slaps, I can't see him. Links in for my circles in the show checks time there, buddy.
Yep, I'll get that ready.
Yep.
Alright, I'm there.
Just telling him to jump in when you're on. Okay. Alrighty. So guys, obviously this is going to be them trying to pick a fight. See how it goes. Spoiler alert, doesn't go too well. But let's go through and jump into it. So, just there you saw the cops with looked like guns. Don't worry, they didn't shoot anybody. I'll refrain from saying something else on that. But yeah, at the end of the day, guys, so yeah, basically what they've done is they've got guns with paintballs in them, and the paintballs are actually full of pepper spray. So this seems to be a new tactic for the police department, where they're going to go through and they're going to shoot these pepper balls, pepper balls at the ground, and basically it causes people to go through and get pepper spray near them and get in their eyes and stuff like that. And apparently it was quite effective. So yeah, don't worry.
It would be.
No Antifa was shot. Moving along. Let's keep going. Can we just talk about how Antifa is now going through and literally just using horns to annoy people?
They've always done that.
Have they? Did they? I thought this was a soccer thing.
Yeah. SJWs have always loved using big, loud things to cause massive disruption and chaos.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Someone said in chat, shut it down. Producer, sorry, said shut it down. Tico76, lol, Shadow Walker, seriously watching on YouTube. I don't know what Shadow Walker means by seriously watching on YouTube. Let's get ready to rumble by producer. Typod said something that Nightbot deleted. What did he say? Oh, okay, that'll be why. Producer, I see American flags there, no problem. I'm guessing whom could this be? And then Typod gets a timeout. And let's keep going. So, anybody playing at home, that was illegal fireworks. Antifa's here. Never fear. Funny, the cops never arrested anybody for that as far as I know, did they?
They should have.
Funny how the cops didn't arrest those guys, isn't it? Let's get going.
Maybe they were afraid of the crowd.
Sorry?
Maybe they were afraid of the crowd.
Really? You reckon? You reckon they might have
How
been?
many people there are?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Let's get going anyway. Okay, so what you're seeing there, that is actually the cops firing the pepper spray bullets. They are actually firing them at Antifa. Full credit to the police department for doing that, I suppose. As for the fireworks, we know they did not come from... Yeah, I know, I don't like censorship either, but I know who Typod is, and... Yeah. Okay, so obviously he's just changed accounts. But what I was going to say was they're firing the pepper spray at Antifa, which obviously is full credits to them. But yeah, the fireworks, we know that's not actually from the American guys, or there was actually Patriot's Prayer. We know that actually came from Antifa because Patriot Prayer actually was in a park before this, and they went through and were searched when they went to the park. They were fully searched, that was fine. No one had anything on them. And Antifa didn't go through the park, so I'm presuming the fireworks are coming from them.
That kind of sounded like automatic gunfire.
Yeah, it's automatic paintballs.
Okay.
Oh God, you're good.
The unrest in America is getting worse.
Well, yeah, but okay, so the unrest in America dies down when obviously it's winter, because you know, hey, they're cold. I suppose their mama's basement's nice and warm for Antifa. But at the end of the day, hey Ben, but at the end of the day, when it gets into spring, gets back into summer and stuff like that, the riots and all that start up. So I want to wait a few weeks before I go making that comment, because I want to compare what it was like then compared to now, instead of like what it was like 3 weeks ago. Because they're just starting to get back into the warmer seasons.
Yeah, you make sense.
Yeah,
you're making sense there.
Ben is asking what's going on. Basically, Ben, what's going on is the fact that Antifa went and turned up to a Patriot Prayer rally. Patriots Prayer had full license to go through and do this. They had the permissions and everything, but Antifa has turned up and started causing shit, so to speak. So yeah, we're just getting into it just now. We're only 2 minutes into it. So, producer, those people aren't Americans anyway. Who are you talking about, producer? Are you talking about the Antifa or the American protesters, the Patriot Prayers? And Nika 76. They're just like more garbage fires in winter. Oh God. Yeah. Well, at least I suppose they'll be warm then, wouldn't they? But yeah.
Oh, was there anyone keeping track of how many trash bins got hurt in the process of this?
There was a couple. So
yeah, those trash bins did nothing wrong.
No, yeah, trash bins lives matter, everybody. Antifa, trash bins lives matter. Okay, they're a majority. You should be respecting them. Let's keep going.
Reason why we need a better education. What? You are no.
I don't want to say she looks like the typical trailer trash, but you know, there's that. So, for the people playing at home, what we actually heard was an explosion. People were saying they were M80s, I believe, at the time. But people have also said that they're going through and they're actually throwing sparkler bombs. Wow. So, yeah, I don't know if that was an M80 or a sparkler bomb, but yeah, definitely not legal. And hey, police, it'd be great if you could arrest the people throwing the bombs at the Patriot Prayers. Just saying, you know, but moving along. Ben says they are going to constitute down the street. Sorry, they're going to reconstitute down the street. Yeah, they do that actually, yes. And producer, these must be aliens. 76 says trash can lives matter, hashtag. And producer, if you preach anarchy, you're not peaceful assembly like we do. Yeah, the Americans were actually the American Patriots or Patriot Prayer were very restrained. When it came to this, I was actually quite impressed. I probably would have started swinging a lot earlier than some of these guys did, but yeah. Let the video run. Okay, fine, Ben. Fine. You can see some of the people getting beaten up.
What a shit show.
Some of the Antifa guys have been knocked out already, eh? There's one guy that gets knocked out later. Look at the Antifa in the background. Oh! I agree with you, producer.
This march has been revoked. Clear the streets and get onto the sidewalk.
They just revoked the license they had.
Yep, so what happened was they revoked... I'm sorry, Ben, I have to pause it. They went through and they revoked the license they received for the protest because of the, quote, violence.
But it was Tifa doing it all. That's so unfair.
Yeah, so that's all that's going to happen now. And Tifa's going to show up, cause a little bit of shit, so to speak. And the police are just going to revoke the license. So every time the Patriots want to march, that's all the Antifa's going to do. Turn up, start stuff, license gets revoked, no problem. It's all done. Problem solved. It sets a very, very bad examples. Just very quickly, we'll be using those properly in 3 days here. It's not the 4th of July. Yep, totally agree. And producer send Antifa to the Arkansas, oh no, I can't pronounce things properly today. Nation where they belong. Yeah, can we send them? Where though? Where's a good place to send them? Free plane rides for Antifa.
Stay! You're gonna wait for a voice. You got people hurt. Proud boys in the front. Proud boys up here. Proud boys in the front. Proud boys in the front. Proud boys in the front.
I just want to say very, very quickly for the record, I love the fact that Antifa is putting up borders. Because that's basically what this is, right? They're putting up barricades to stop people from attacking them. They're literally putting up borders. But let's keep going.
This is the Portland Police Bureau. The permit for this event has been revoked. Return to the sidewalk and obey all laws and traffic control devices. This is the Portland Police Bureau. Officers have observed assaults, criminal behavior, projectile, and illegal firearms. The march has been revoked. All people must return to the sidewalks. Anyone who intends to engage in physical aggression or emergency circumstances require may be subject to the use of force and
Japanese!
Watch this. This is funny. Watch the guy with the baton.
Oh, beat to your phone.
I literally had to carry him on. go, there's a garbage tin.
Poor
You guys can see who's attacking. Did Ted Wheeler tell you guys to stand there?
Officers have observed assaults, criminal behavior, and projectiles being thrown. This event has been determined to be a riot. Your area is now a restricted access area pursuant to Portland City Code Provision 14C 30010. All people must leave the area immediately.
USA! 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 USA!
fantastic.
Alright. So, that was the highlights of it. Big shout out, obviously, to Very Fake News, the channel, for obviously going through and putting that together. But yeah, you get the idea of generally how things went down. Interesting, I suppose, if you'd like to say. I don't know, what were your thoughts on it?
Oh, it's yeah. We've seen it before with what do you call it? Like events where they have a permit, they can go there, they do what they need to do, but Antifa will show up, ruin it. It's kind of sad that the police are doing that sort of thing. They should be preventing Antifa specifically from doing this. They shouldn't be revoking the permit because basically it's giving a and so this is the precedent that Antifa is using.
Yeah.
They're going to do this over and over.
Yeah. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about them realizing that this is a tactic that works. And they'd say, so all we have to do is get a whole bunch of people to show up, throw a whole bunch of M80s or whatever it may be, and basically get their protest called off. You're actually punishing the person who hasn't actually done anything wrong. They were just defending themselves. And look, I've gone through hours and hours of this footage. I've literally sat through, I think, about 4 hours of footage today. Yeah, sure, Patriot Pair fights back. But the fact is that they had every right to protest. They had every right to do their march. And if Antifa hadn't turned up, none of this would have gone down. It would have been just a peaceful march. It was because Antifa showed up and they started attacking the Patriots' prayers that this all got out of hand very, very fast. One of the guys was arrested from Patriots' Prayer. Let me see if I can get his name. Is
there any arrest record for how many people were arrested from Antifa?
I think anywhere. Okay, so police have arrested 4 apparently, according to this now. I might have to fake news myself on that. So 4 arrested at a march and rally in downtown Portland on Saturday. It was hosted by the right-wing Patriot Prayer Group, and its leader, Joe Gibson, met Plaza 4 p.m. before later marching through the streets of Portland. The group did have a permit for the rally and for the march, but it was later revoked after police say there were assaults and projectiles were used. Yes, but who threw them? That's what we're saying. We seized numerous weapons earlier on, and incendiaries and separate people when necessary. So hang on, let me put this on the screen.
I would have liked to seen. I would have liked to have seen the police actually arrest the people throwing all those fireworks and whoever was setting off those massive bombs.
Yeah, so the 4 people arrested were Luis E. Merez, 46, who was arrested in connection to an investigation that began on June 3rd during the protests that occurred in downtown Portland. Perez was lodged at the county jail on charges of first-degree theft and third-degree theft and third-degree assault. Justina J. Tossi, who was arrested in connection with the investigation that began in June 8 in downtown Portland. Don Filippo, who was arrested, began an investigation that began on June 8. Matt R. Boddick was arrested in connection with the investigation that began on the 31st of March. So it looks like these arrests were not regarding the actual march itself, but previous events. So, Department of Homeland Security said they arrested 5 other people.
Huh.
So, yeah, I know the I know they were saying that one of the Patriot guys was arrested because they were talking about setting up a GoFundMe for him.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a news article on that. So Fox News has commented on it as well. So violent protests again draw attention to Portland, Oregon. Viral video of bloody skirmishes between right-wing activists and self-described anti-fascists have drawn attention to Portland, Oregon, a city of storied political activism. Tension erupted mostly recently this month when members of the so-called Antifa movement showed up at a march organised by the right-wing group Patriot Prayer. At least Fox is actually reporting on this, honestly. As police tried to keep...
That is good to see.
Yeah, so tensions erupt So as police tried to keep order, fist fight broke out in a string of downtown parks fringed with aspen trees and... why are you describing this scenery? But anyway. Video of the conflict on social media shows one being knocked to the ground and kicked repeatedly as he covers his head with his hands. Another, a man lying on the ground, is dragged away from a group of attackers, his face bloodied. In a third, 2 men, including one wearing homemade body armor, take swings at a third man who is backed against a wall with his arms raised. Police have made 4 arrests in June 3rd in and around the parks, which have become a gathering place for dissidents in liberal cities. So, yeah. But anyway, as for this, look, I don't think Patriot Prayer did anything wrong. I think they kind of stuck up for themselves. So yeah, I really don't.
That's the thing. It's okay for them to defend themselves. I say it's okay for them to defend themselves, but the police need to wake up, and they also, like, America has all of this monitoring, social media monitoring, text messages, all this stuff. How do they not know? Homeland Security would have access to these things. They should see that they're organized, to go and attack these people. The police are reacting, and they're reacting wrongly, in my opinion.
And this is something that 76 is saying in chat. We didn't pull that crap on their events. What he's referring to there were 2 protest marches yesterday, I believe, where the far left, whatever you want to call them, went through and they had their marches, they had their protests, and no one from the right turned up. This shit wasn't pulled. We didn't, no one on the right turned up. The Patriots Prayer didn't turn up. The mega movement didn't turn up. They just let them go through and have their movement and have their march, and nothing happened. We didn't even hear about it. So, yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it's weird how the right says, like, yeah, man, go have your march, whatever. We'll sit at home, play video games, and smoke some bongs, for example. And But when the right goes to have their march the day after, all of a sudden Antifa's like, "Oh no, we got to stop these guys!" Like, who's the tolerant one here? Like, Antifa will be labelled a gang soon. Antifa will be labelled a gang soon. They'll be treated like a gang. They are listed as a domestic terrorism organisation, I believe. So yeah, I think that's actually worse than a gang, actually.
Yeah, if that's the case, the police would be arresting them all because they're terrorists. They're not getting treated as a domestic terrorist organization, are they?
Well, this is Portland. Are you shocked about that?
No, I guess not.
No. Like, Portland, my understanding, and someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, Portland is very left. So, you know, at the end of the day, is anybody actually surprised about these guys? Sorry, we just lost stream for a sec. Is anybody actually surprised that these guys are going through and pulling this sort of stunt? I don't know. Probably not. I'm not.
It's the same as in Australia. We have gangs. We have Sudanese gangs here, you know, openly organising on Facebook, and nothing happens. The police aren't there to help anybody until they actually show up, and all they do is shut down the actual event.
You're saying there's a double standard?
Well, you know, I mean, it's a double standard in the sense that they would know it's going to happen, but they don't do anything about it. I mean, there's definitely a conspiracy in that.
Sorry, I was just shutting down my server because that would actually give them more bandwidth. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I honestly believe that these police are protecting Antifa to a certain point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Authorities protecting the people that are actually the ones instigating the violence, but they don't do anything about it because that would be racist.
Yeah, well. Anyway. Moving along, I suppose. So look, at the end of the day, apart from that, I do want to also cover the stuff that has come out regarding the Senate or the House investigation. Okay. So apparently,
let's take a look at that.
Hang on. I'm getting warnings from YouTube saying they're not receiving any of my data. Let me double check this real quick.
I've been having a hard time hearing you too, understanding you. You lag a lot on my
Protecting Antifa to a certain point.
And I checked on my recording side as well, and you're doing it there too, so it's coming from you. Your upload is getting choked.
Is it? Alright. Yeah, well. Anyway. Okay, so no, it looks like it's fine. It's coming through. Alright, yeah guys, let me know in... Oh, someone's still typing in chat, so they must be able to hear me. Alright, I want to cover the stuff that we're getting from the House Oversight Committee. But I want to do that separate. Well, not separate, sorry, after. Let's talk about this plastic ban. So,
oh yeah, the damn plastic bag ban. That is really annoying.
So basically what is happening is the major shopping centres, Coles, Woolworths, etc., have gone through and have, quote, banned plastic bags. The problem with that theory is that they're still selling plastic bags. You're like, what? Yeah, so what they've done is basically Coles, Woolworths and all these sort of stores have gone through and have basically just stopped giving out free plastic bags, is what they should be really calling this, because that's what it really is. Now, Woolworths did this about 2 weeks ago, and apparently they've had a lot of complaints. They've had a lot of people in uproar over it. And Coles went through and put it through today. I haven't spoken to anyone at Coles yet to find out how their general feeling was, but I can't imagine it went down very well. What's your thoughts?
No. Well, my thoughts is that they're charging for the bags, but I mean it's a very inflated price. And maybe 3 cents a bag would be the I would justify. And secondly, it's pointless. As far as I know, almost everyone I know actually don't throw the bags out. They keep them for rubbish bags and other uses around the house.
True. I use them for bin liners.
Yeah, but see, they sell bill liners too, right?
Yeah. Funny that, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think, and the other thing is that those reusable bags, they're actually made from a material that breaks down after a few years anyway. I've seen them; they just flake, and fall apart, so that way they can keep selling those too. It's all a profit thing. It's all about price gouging and profiteering.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely does feel like a way of making money to me. You go through and it looks like they're, I want to say so they used to give out the bags for free, right? But they factored it into their prices. That's how Coles, Woolworths and all that work. Like, for example, you go in, you buy 2 litres of milk for $2. The milk itself doesn't actually cost $2. That in itself is them, they might buy it for $1, whatever it may be, but they're going through and bumping up the price to cover their costs. For example,
business costs,
running costs and stuff,
paying the rent, electricity, all those things.
Yeah.
But do you think that they've reduced the prices of any of their products because the bags are now charged? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say. That's what they'll do is they'll go through. They will keep the price the same. They will make extra money because of that. And at the end of the day, they're also selling these bags now. They're selling them. I think it was like 15 cents, wasn't it, for the biodegradable ones or something, or $1 something. I would have to look into it. Actually, I should do a separate story on it. $1 something for like the reusable ones or something. Now, quite a portion of that,
which
goes towards.
I'm not that reusable.
Yeah, well, apparently, according to Coles, Woolworths, whatever, a portion of that is being donated. I think it's up to 10 cents or whatever. But this it just seems like a money making scheme to me. It just seems like a way that they can go through and basically make a few extra shekels. Yeah.
And I'm also not surprised that this time Woolworths and Coles have teamed up on it.
Yeah. That in itself is a little interesting. The fact that Coles and Woolworths have brought this in so close together.
Yeah, because they've tried this last time, but one of them sort of went, well, we are still doing them free, that we have bags, and, obviously it didn't work. Now, this time they've both gone and done it together. It's interesting to me.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen, and this is something that someone has said in chat, 10% discount on your shopping bill for bringing in your own bag and 10% fine for using theirs would actually reduce plastic bag use. I don't know about the 10% being charged for using their bags. I think you actually pay for their bags in the cost of products. So unless they're going to drop the... Why am I getting problems with YouTube? So unless they're planning on dropping that, I would say no. I don't agree with the 10% extra for using their bags. I think that's actually factored into the price. But I will say that the 10% idea, I do like that idea. 10% reduce. I do like that idea actually. I think that would actually...
So if you use your own bags, they can just put a discount on your bill.
Yeah, exactly.
That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
But taking them away entirely is just a nice way to get a very bad public backlash. And I do hope that the backlash continues and people don't let up us, because we need to see these, Woolies and Coles bring this stuff back. Like, they need to bring the bags back for free as they've always had them. This is not the right way of doing it.
No.
This is very disrespectful for the customers.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, it's a way of screwing over your customers, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look. Sorry, I'm playing around with my bitrate, trying to fix my drop frames issue in YouTube at the moment. A little bit of an update on that, guys. People are wondering. And
you still robot pretty bad for me.
Yeah. So, guys, obviously, for anybody that's wondering, NBN is apparently coming to my area in Australia sooner rather than later. Hopefully one or the other, but yeah, who knows. All right, so let's go through and let's talk about Trey Gowdy and Jim Jordan going absolutely ballistic at the House Committee, Oversight Committee. So this is about 15 minutes and 16 minutes. So what are we going for? Time pause at an hour, say. Yeah, so it'd be about an hour and a half stream, guys. So let's jump into it. Apart from before we do that, you have anything else to say about the Coles Woolworths plastic bag? Seth?
It's bullshit.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. It's bullshit.
Do you reckon
I
they'll
had to go to
change?
the shops earlier today.
Do you reckon they're going to?
Maybe not. I mean, at the end of the day, they do have the monopoly and they can do whatever they want. I don't know where the pressure is coming from. Probably the Greens. They tend to cause all the trouble in the world. Well, in Australia anyway.
You reckon they might just weather
I
it
don't
out?
know. They argue that they are. Yeah, I mean, eventually people will move on. That's what often happens in societies. Unfortunately, people don't seem to have the backbone to actually scale up the protest until things change. As long as people are comfortable, nothing will change.
True. All right, let's jump into this. We'll do Jim Jordan first because.
Sorry for the black pill, everyone.
No, that's all right. I was pretty much feeling the same way. Let's jump into Jim Gordon first, because Trey Gowdy really does hit 9,000 level on this, if it's the right video I'm thinking of. So let's jump into Jim first.
That's okay.
If it wants to.
Friday. With that, the gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Jordan, is recognized.
Mr. Horowitz, does Peter Strzok like the president?
I can only speak to what his text messages say, and they're obviously not positive comments about the president.
February.
What is going on with my internet tonight? I have no idea. Alright, let's try that again.
Is the video playing right now?
No, it's stuff.
Friday. With that, the gentleman from Ohio is recognized.
Mr. Horowitz, does Peter Strzok like the president?
On my end.
Yep.
I can only speak to what his text messages say, and they're obviously not positive comments about the president.
February, March of 2016, Peter Strzok said, Trump's abysmal, Trump's an idiot, he's a bleeping idiot, Hillary...
So you should be hearing about Trump's an idiot. He's abysmal. Yeah. Yep, cool. So we're in the same quote. Right. And let's keep going.
Should win 100 million to 0. Sounds to me like he hates the president.
His text messages would certainly leave that as the implication.
Your report says Strzok ran the Clinton investigation on a daily basis. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
And Peter Strzok, in your report, he was the lead investigator on the Russian investigation. Is that true?
That's my understanding for the time period he was on.
So the guy, he ran the Clinton investigation, he runs the Russian investigation, and he hates the president, but your report says while his bias cast a cloud, it didn't impact final decisions. Is that accurate?
It didn't impact the prosecutor's final decision.
Right. Let's look at a few other things Peter Strzok had to say. On May 4th, 2016, the day after President Trump secures the Republican nomination, Mr. Strzok says, now the pressure really starts to finish the Clinton investigation. I'm not sure why the pressure would be more or less the day after. It seems to me you want to just do the investigation. On July 31st, as was mentioned earlier, the FBI opens the Russian investigation. 1 week later, Peter Strzok says, I can protect my country on many levels. 2 days after that, he says, we will stop Trump. 1 week after that, he says, no way he gets elected. It's like an insurance policy. So think about this, Mr. Horowitz. Peter Strzok opens, the FBI opens the Russia investigation on July 31st, 2016. Peter Strzok is the lead investigator. Within the next 15 days, he says, I can protect my country on many levels. No way he gets elected. We will stop him. We have an insurance policy. Now that seems like, at least I think a lot of regular folks would interpret that as more than just casting a cloud on what the FBI ultimately did. I mean, it's one thing to say Trump's an idiot. It's another thing to say we got an insurance policy. It's one thing to say Trump's awful. It's another thing to say we're going to stop him, especially when those statements are made within 15 days, just days after you've launched an investigation into that individual. Would you agree?
Does anybody else that's watching this at the moment... Oh, by the way, guys, I've just been notified. Halftime update, 1-1. That's Spain playing Russia. So, yeah, thanks for letting us know in chat. And, yeah. But, does anybody at the moment think this investigation wasn't biased? You have the guy that is leading the Russian investigation, that is leading the Hillary investigation, that is a member of the special counsel of Mueller's team, who is sending text messages about how he hates the President of the United States, how the President is a buffoon, how he's a moron, how Hillary Clinton has to win.
Yeah, that shows a clear bias. There's no question about it.
Now, the interesting thing is they actually said it didn't affect the prosecutor's report. He did say that there. But I disagree, because at the end of the day, how do you go through... Freaking YouTube is cutting out. How do you go through and not affect an investigation if you're leading the investigation? Even if you're the one that's not prosecuting it, so to speak, he's still attached to it. He's still investigating, collecting evidence and stuff like that. That still can affect the outcome. So I don't know how... Like, for example, if I was working...
You can't be said to be objective if you are literally saying that you have an insurance policy to ensure that he's not going to be, elected.
Yeah, and that's what their argument is. Their argument is, well, he didn't prosecute it, so that's fine. No data again. Really?
Yeah, I'm having problems here. Like, you talk, you slow down, robot, and then you skip an entire sentence.
Really?
I'm having trouble following you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's happening on the computer too, so my recording is busted.
Yeah, I am recording it, so I can send you the video file.
It's you. And it's like, yeah, I understand. It's just, this is really bad.
Yeah. I have
the
no idea
stream's cutting out too.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on with the... It seems to be... I don't know if it's the internet or YouTube, because apparently chat is disconnecting. But anyway, but But yeah, what we might do, guys, after the stream, if you can hear me, I might upload the actual video to Nonpartisan Media Live. I will put a link in the description below, so you can have the full video, and that way Satellite can just download the full video from there. I think I missed the first 2 minutes or so, but apart from that, it should be complete. But yeah, so look, at the end of the day, I don't know. I know what they're saying. They're saying the prosecutor can't be, wasn't affected. But at the end of the day, if you have someone investigating someone, they can tamper with evidence. They can do a lot to go through and affect an investigation. They don't necessarily have to be the end result. But let's keep going with the video.
And I think the important thing here is the time period we're talking about, because those messages in the July-August period, which we found extremely concerning and antithetical to the core values of the FBI, concerned, as we noted, the Russia investigation, and as you noted. And that's why we had so much concern about what occurred in late September and October.
Exactly. Mr. Horowitz, was Peter Strzok put on Special Counsel Mueller's team?
He was.
So again, the guy who hates the president, the guy who ran the Clinton investigation, the guy who ran the Russian investigation, then gets assigned to the Special Counsel team. Do you know what date, Mr. Horowitz, the Special Counsel was named?
I believe it was around May 17th.
May 17th, 2017. May 17th, 2017. Mr. Horowitz, do you remember what Strzok said on May 18th, 2017?
I do. It's in our report on page 405.
I unleashed it on the mid-year exam, this one?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now I need to fix it and finish it. There's unfinished business, and this could be an investigation leading to impeachment. That's what he said the day after?
Correct.
Again, don't you think that sounds and looks a little bit like, to regular Americans, a little bit more than just casting a cloud on the overall investigations?
Again, I'd go back to what the report concerned, which was the Clinton email investigation, which was concluded about a year earlier with Director Comey's announcement. But it's precisely why we were concerned about what occurred in late September and October, when Mr. Strzok had the choice between working on the Russian investigation or on the Wiener laptop Clinton investigation.
He was prioritizing one over the other.
Chose Russia.
Yeah. Let me just finish with this. And this is probably what bothers me. More than all what we just went through. More than that, probably what bothers me the most is Peter Strzok's attitude. I think it's what bothers Americans the most about this whole ordeal. I just want to go to one more text message one more thing Mr. Strzok said. This is back in that August time period again. August 26, 2016, Peter Strzok says, just went to a Southern Virginia Walmart. I can smell the Trump supporters. This is what ticks Americans off more than anything else. I'm convinced about all this in Clinton investigation, all this Russian investigation, is this idea that there are two sets of rules or two standards. One set of rules for us regular folk who shop at Walmart, but a different set if your name is Clinton, Comey, Lynch, McCabe, or if your name is Peter Strzok. And the arrogance and the condescension and the elitist attitude, that is what ticks people off. And as they look at all this and see what Strzok said throughout these investigations, that's why their confidence is so shaken. And frankly, that's why they're so mad. And that's why we got to get some answers from Mr. Rosenstein and Mr. Wray about this whole ordeal. With that, I yield.
So what he's talking about there, guys, is Rod Rosenstein, as far as I know, has said that he doesn't want to testify in front of the House committee. I don't know if that's changed. If it has, obviously, guys, please let me know. But yeah, he's there's been like Loretta Lynch has said she doesn't want to do it either. There's been a few people that have said they don't want to testify, and they're trying to avoid testifying in front of this House committee. So look, at the end of the day, obviously, yeah, credit goes to Halsewitz for actually turning up and doing it, but, you know, hey, it's your job, you should. Producer says these men are interested in justice. They got dirty money from who knows where to push these accusations instead of catching Stephen Paddock, who was stockpiling weapons for 2 weeks. There's been a lot of information that's come out about the Vegas shooting, their producer. One of the things is that apparently he wasn't alone. It wasn't a lone gunman attack. I am going to look into that over the next few days. And yeah, hopefully I might even do a stream on it. Maybe next weekend we might talk about the Vegas shooting and everything we've learnt. It'll give me a week to go through and get all the information. Miss it. I'm not mispronouncing. The bias is so obvious, but they double down in denial. And then he also wrote YouTube probably up to no good. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happening with YouTube tonight. So we'll see what happens. As for the bias, yeah, I know how you say it. I know what you were saying, man. It's really pretty bad, actually. What about you, Sat? You got anything to add while we keep going on this? Or?
I love this guy. He's pointing out, what the American people feel. And I think he's pointing it out accurately. It's great.
Yeah, look, Jim Gordon, I am actually really impressed with him from this. Him and Trey Gowdy really stuck it to him. Like, dude, we're talking like Adolf Hitler, Pineapple, Little Nicky reference. Like, they really, they really gave it to this Hosowitz guy. So, yeah, but yeah, let's keep going.
Go back, Mr. Chairman. I thank the gentleman for yielding. Mr. Horowitz, how many text messages were exchanged between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page?
I don't have an exact number, but tens of thousands.
Tens of thousands, and we got to see most of these last fall and over the last several months, but there was one we didn't get to see. One text message we didn't get to see that until last week when your report came out.
Yep.
And it just happened to be the most explosive one, the one that says, "We'll stop Trump." How come we didn't see that beforehand?
Let me explain how we ended up finding that, because I think it's important to also appreciate the.
I guess I'm more interested in if someone was trying to hide it.
Well, we uncovered it in May, so last month. We uncovered it in our 4th round of work on their on their FBI devices.
That's my question. If you uncovered it a month ago, why did we not see it until last Thursday?
I can't answer that question. We provided the
but who made
to
the
department.
decision? Was it Mr. Ray? Was it Mr. Rosenstein? Was it Mr. Sessions? Who made the decision?
What we have done as we found these texts is send them to the department and for them to produce it to Congress, and that's what we did in May.
And who at the department, though?
We sent it to the Office of Deputy Attorney General and.
So Mr. Rosenstein.
In his office.
Mr. Rosenstein made a decision that instead of us seeing the most explosive text message between these 2 key agents who were on the Clinton team, the Russia team, and on the special counsel team, he made a decision to wait a month for us to see that text message.
I can't speak to whether anyone made a conscious decision. I would just say there was, in that 4th recovery that we made in May, there was 100,000 plus lines of text to go through. All of them we'd found before. This one was one we hadn't. We didn't see it or pick it up until June.
And did you not see it, or was it hidden from you? Because we have the text message right before it and the one that happened right after it, but somehow that one, the most explosive one, was missing from the pages that we got months ago.
And I can explain how we ended up finding it, because it was missing from, we did not have it either.
So the department didn't give it to you either?
I don't think the department had it. And I can explain why I don't think they had it. These text messages were retained by the FBI pursuant to a data collection where they were pulling text messages. I'm not a tech person. I'll do my best here. They were pulling them off the FBI devices. They each had their own FBI phones. They were pulling them. As we got these texts and found these concerning messages in 2017, we then asked the FBI for all their text messages. When we got all their text messages, as you know, we found a window, a period of several months where it was 0. We then went and got their phones and said, okay, if the FBI isn't collecting them, we're going to try and extract them from the phones. We did a first run through using our cyber forensics capabilities, collected material. We then went to our outside vendor that we used to see what else that contractor had. We did another go-round with some additional tools, found more. We then went to the Defense Department.
Okay.
Did the same thing.
Yeah, I'm
sorry.
thankful that Mr. Shabba yielded me time, but I got the gist of it. You had to jump through all kinds of hoops to retrieve it.
Correct.
The point is,
Off the
when you
phone.
did get it, Mr. Rosenstein decided we couldn't get it until your report came out. He sat on it for a month of time.
I can't speak to how they...
Well, it's not the first time Mr. Rosenstein has kept us from getting information. I mean, he's hid information from us. He redacted all kinds of important conversations between Strzok and Page. He redacted that from us. We had to go over to the Justice Department and find it. So this wouldn't be the first time he hasn't given us information, frankly, I think we're entitled to. I want to well, I got 30 seconds. I don't have time to get into another subject area here. Mr. Horowitz, I appreciate that, but I do think it's interesting that you had it, you discovered it, and we couldn't get it right away. Like all the other text messages, we had to wait until the final report. With that, I yield back, Mr. Chairman. Thank the gentleman for yielding. Mr. Horowitz, I want to go back to where we were just a few minutes ago. This text message, this mysterious one that was...
I just like the fact that everybody in this House committee is just like, yep, we'll just give all our time to Jim Gordon and he can just go nuclear on this guy.
Yeah. I noticed the guy who seems to be a bad actor here is his surname is Rosenstein.
Rosenstein, yeah. Rosenstein, yeah.
Yeah, just just the name Rosenstein.
Yeah. The problem is though he's a Trump personnel.
Yeah, I think this guy might need to be dumped out of out of his position.
So
I'd say he's
Rosenstein, sorry. He was told there's rumors going around that Trump wants to fire Jeff Sessions. Now, Rosenstein, told Trump and the media that if Jeff Sessions is fired, or Mueller is fired, that he is leaving too. Funny thing is everybody in the Trump mega camp turned around and said, okay, don't let the door hit you on the way out. He's... Yeah, I don't want to say he's deep state, but I definitely think he is opposition. That's for sure. Just the way he's doing things, it's just yeah. But anyway.
I mean, the name suggests to me that he's of a kind of
let's moving on.
The most explosive one disappeared, refound, but the department sits on it for a month. Can we get a copy of the correspondence that you had with Mr. Rosenstein? Was there any type of... How did you communicate to the Justice Department that you had found this text message?
My agent sent it by email.
So you sent an email. Did you get
this printout, the spreadsheets? Of all the text, we had 120,000 or so 100,000 lines of text.
So you didn't specify we found this one that had been missing?
I then, when we found it, I specified to the Associate Deputy Attorney General on June 8 that he ought to look at this one.
Oh, so you sent it to him last month, but then you specifically pointed out to him last week or 2 weeks ago.
Correct. When we identified it and saw it as we were going through these 100,000.
What response did he give you when you pointed it out? The most explosive text message.
Thank you for telling me about it.
Thank you for telling me that. Well, yeah, I think so, but not like, well, we need to get this to Congress like we did all the others right away.
I'd engage him on that.
Do you know if there's anything nefarious at work? Because when we got the original pages of the text, it had the prompting question from Miss Page. It says he's not ever going to become president, right? We had that one. We've had it for months, as did you. So why didn't we get the response? All the other times we get the back and forth. This time we did it.
I think actually it goes to the technological issue that we think needs to get addressed and fixed, frankly, because what happened here is on the fourth go-round, when we were doing our quality control check on what we had done, we found an operating system or program in the phone that was...
So you think it was technical? You think it was a technical problem?
To us, that's what it appears as to why this wasn't found before May.
I'm more concerned about why Mr. Rosenstein didn't give us the information when he first got it. It seems to me he should have. Let me go to something else here. How many different... investigations you have going on right now? Are you looking at, you're looking at Mr. Comey, you're looking at FISA?
That in itself is interesting. How many investigations do you have going at the moment? he said, you're looking into Comey. Makes you wonder if Comey saw this and thought, oh shit, might be a good time to move to Mexico.
Yeah. So, was he supposed to say that?
I don't know. I when I originally saw this video, I thought, oh shit, are you supposed to say that? But
yeah.
By the way, producer went through and apparently passed the FBI intelligence exam with a D-. There's tons of officers who want to work in the FBI. They're saying disband the FBI for a year, excluding homicide, of course. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that lately. They want the FBI broken up. It's got way too much power, and yeah. He's also said they are smart, but with atrocity. Well, I can't pronounce things today. I really can't. Comes corruption. So yeah, let's keep going.
Potential abuse of the FISA court process. And
that's also interesting. So they're investigating Comey, FISA abuses, and here's the third one.
Are you looking at the leak issue with the FBI? Are you looking at? Have you got 3 other ones going on?
We got lots.
He went to say something then, and he stopped himself. He said the leak issue.
Yeah. Who's that guy again? He's on Twitter, isn't it?
Who? Which one?
QAnon?
QAnon, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they might be looking into who QAnon is.
Or are they talking about newspaper leaks?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, if I was trying to leak information from something, I wouldn't go to MSM, you know.
No, depending if you're left or right. For example, Comey and all that leaks information to mainstream media. Makes you wonder if they're going through and looking into that.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's keep going.
Lots of investigations.
Well, I know, but relative to this subject, I know you got lots.
Yes, we're looking at the leak issue as well. That's ongoing.
So all 3 of those
remain ongoing.
Within ongoing investigation.
So he's just confirmed they're all 3.
Do you have any idea when?
So Comey is definitely under investigation.
I'm particularly interested in the FISA, potential abuse of the FISA process. Do you have any idea when that one will be complete?
I don't, Congressman. In part, as you know, a few weeks ago we were asked to broaden that and look at some additional information and issues.
Do you anticipate it taking 18 months like this Clinton investigation one did, Mr. Horowitz?
I don't anticipate it, but let me just say, if we had released this report in January, you would not have most of these text messages.
No, I understand. I mean, you got to do your work, but
I can't.
As important as it is,
that.
when you looking at the FISA potential abuse of the FISA process, will you be looking at the question of whether Mr. Rosenstein threatened staff members on the House Intelligence Committee?
I've read about that recently, and I'm certainly, as in all instances, available to take information. I only know at this point what.
But will that be within the parameters of your investigation? That question?
Frankly, I'd have to understand a little bit more about it and what occurred, and how it might connect to this, if at all, or whether it's something separate.
Will you look at the issue of why, when the dossier was taken to the FISA court, they didn't tell the court who paid for the document? Will you look at that question?
Certainly within the FISA review.
Parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chairman. Parliamentary
Mr.
inquiry.
Horowitz, in the course of your investigation, will you look at the question of?
So, guys, you probably heard they mentioned the fact that Rod Rosenstein had reportedly threatened people on the House committee. So, what that is actually in regards to, I have an article here. Am I coming through clearer now, man? Is it better now?
You've been much better.
Alright, I shut down the server, so maybe that makes a difference, I'm not sure. I'll wait for that to load. We'll keep going and wait for that to load.
Why, when the application was taken to the FISA court, they didn't reveal the fact that the author of the document, the author of the dossier...
Chairman, I have a parliamentary inquiry.
The gentleman from Ohio controls the time.
is it not appropriate to raise the question as to what is the germaneness of the gentleman's line of questioning and whether or not we're dealing with the report of Mr. Horowitz or we're dealing with the Republicans' attempt to undermine the Mueller investigation and as well to fire Attorney General Rosenstein, planning to do on Friday.
The gentlelady has not stated
the
a
agenda.
parliamentary inquiry. The gentleman from Ohio controls the time, and I would ask that the time be put back on the clock that was usurped by the gentlelady from Texas.
I would just...
I just want to say for the record too, they didn't actually fire Rod Rosenstein. I think I don't know his name. His pronunciation sucks tonight. He still is a member of the Trump campaign. I did hear that rumor going around, but apparently he is still a part of the Trump campaign. Unless I'm mistaken on that, guys, let me know in the chat just below. So, did Rod Rosenstein threaten House Intelligence Committee? We all know the negotiations between Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and the FBI Director Chris Wray at the House Intelligence Committee were testy, but it seems they may have gotten testier than expected. By 100% verified, I mean the sources are anonymous, and that's a gold standard in reporting these days. So basically, as I said, the fact is that anonymous means it's absolutely true. Oh, okay, yeah. So what they're saying is, in a meeting with Chairman Dev Numas, Director Christopher Wray and others, and the sources say Rod Rosenstein threatened to subpoena the texts and emails of Congress because he was tired of dealing with the Intelligence Committee. If true, Rosenstein must resign or be fired. So apparently my internet just cut out again. Yay! But anyway, so that's what they're talking about when it came to that. Let's get going.
Mr. Chairman, it's been widely understood that when the dossier was taken to the FISA court to get a secret warrant to spy on a fellow American citizen, they didn't tell the court two important facts. They didn't tell the court who paid for the document. They didn't tell the court the guy who wrote it had been fired by the FBI. And I'm just asking, as Mr. Horowitz undergoes this important investigation, if he'll be examining those two fundamental questions.
We will take under advisement those and other questions that have been raised. And as we said with this review, if we find additional issues, we will look at those as well. And partly that's why.
One last question, if I could, Mr. Horowitz. When May 17th, 2017, Rod Rosenstein writes a memo outlining the scope and parameters of the special counsel investigation. On August 2nd, 2017, he writes another memo that in some way alters, amends, modifies the initial scope of the investigation. And yet we can't see that, the Americans can't see that. Seems to me, if you're altering the scope of an investigation into the guy that the American people made president of the United States, we as Americans deserve to know exactly the parameters and scope of that investigation. And so will you be able to get a hold of that August 2nd memo and make that available in the course of your investigation?
Gentleman's time has expired, but you may answer the question.
I'd have to think about how that connected to our investigation and what connectivity, germaneness it would have to ours. I'm happy to consider it. I have not seen either of those memos myself, and like I said, on its face, I'm not sure the connection between that and the FISA, but I'll certainly take it under advisement, Congressman.
Thank the gentleman.
Gentleman yields back.
All right. So, there have been calls for Trump to fire Rod Rosenstein, and they are getting louder and louder every day. Yeah, he's gone through, he said stuff like he won't comment on whether Obama tried to hurt the Trump campaign. So Trump has met with Rosenstein, apparently. But yeah, there is a lot of pressure for Trump to fire this person. My understanding, he is one of the Trumpers. Saying that he might be, I'll put it up on screen. He might be I reckon he's opposition, to be honest. But yeah. But President Donald Trump must fire
he might
deputy.
be on the Trump campaign, but
Yeah, he could be a neocon. The neocons don't like Trump as much as the neoconservatives. The sorry.
Infiltration.
Yeah, true. So yeah, there's that. My internet's still playing up too. Producer says in chat, I bet he gets us up on the wrist. Yeah, probably will. Who knows? We'll see. Next video is Trey Gowdy, and that'll probably wrap it up. And then I'm probably going to have to go and reboot on my equipment because my internet is screwing up tonight. So let's do Trey Gowdy. When it wants to load.
Just hit the pause button or play pause.
I think it's the internet.
There we go. Alright, it's playing on my end.
Okay, it's not playing on my end.
Yeah, you just need to play, then pause. There we go.
Inspector General, there's a text exchange between FBI lawyer Lisa Page and FBI agent Peter Strzok from August the 8th of 2016. In that text exchange, Lisa Page wrote, "Trump's not ever going to become president," right with a question mark, and then right with a question mark and an exclamation point in case anybody reading it may have missed the point of her emphasis. Peter Strzok responded, no, he's not. We'll stop it. Do I have that text exchange right?
You do.
Now, Lisa Page was an FBI lawyer who worked on the Clinton email investigation?
That's correct.
Did she also work on the Russia investigation?
She did.
How about the Mueller special counsel team?
She did for a period of time.
All right, so we're 3 for 3 on her working on the two most important Bureau investigations in 2016 and beyond. Now, is this the same Lisa Page that Andy McCabe used to leak information to a news outlet?
She was his special counsel, and as we indicated in our earlier report, she was the individual through whom he provided that information.
Wasn't there also a...
So that's interesting. He says about the leaking information. So that makes me wonder that them investigating the leaks could be about that.
Talks about an insurance policy in case
they're mentioning
Trump
the leaks
won
a fair bit.
Yeah, there was a lot of leaks coming out of the Trump campaign. And a lot of it was being leaked to mainstream media. So they could be looking into that. So that in itself is interesting as in, oh my God, someone is going to go to jail. I'm going to play this. I'm going to mute myself, and I'm going to go and turn off and make sure everything in the house is turned off for the internet. But yeah, so I'll keep playing this for a second.
Meeting in Andy's office. She was part of that text string too, wasn't she?
Correct. That was on August 15.
All right, so this August 8 text was not the only time FBI lawyer Lisa Page was able to use the text feature on her phone. This is the same Lisa Page who admonished the agent interviewing Hillary Clinton not to go into that interview loaded for bear because Clinton might be the next president. And it's the same Lisa Page who said Trump was loathsome, awful. The man cannot become president. Clinton just has to win, and that Trump should go F himself. Now, most of those comments were before the Clinton investigation was over. And we are somehow supposed to believe that she did not prejudge the outcome of that investigation before it was over. She already had Hillary Clinton winning. I don't know how you can win if you're going to wind up getting indicted and or plead guilty or be convicted of a felony. So I think we understand the first half of that text pretty well. She didn't want Trump to win, and she wanted Clinton to win. Now for the response. Senior FBI agent Peter Strzok wrote, no, he's not. We'll stop it. Now, I think this is the same Peter Strzok who worked on the Clinton email investigation. Do I have that right?
That's correct.
Same Peter Strzok who not only worked on the Russia investigation when it began, but was one of the lead investigators at the inception of the Russia probe. Do I have the right Peter Strzok?
That's my understanding.
Now, is it the same Peter Strzok who was put on the Mueller special counsel team?
Yes.
All right, same Peter Strzok. And this is not the only time he managed to find the text feature on his phone either. This is the same Peter Strzok who said Trump is an idiot, Hillary should win 100 million to 0. Now, Mr. Inspector General, that one is interesting to me because he's supposed to be investigating her for violations of the Espionage Act at the time he wrote that, in March of 2016. He's supposed to be investigating her for violations of the Espionage Act, and he can't think of a single solitary American that wouldn't vote for her for president. I mean, can you see our skepticism? This senior FBI agent not only had her running, he had her winning 100 million to nothing. So what if they'd found evidence sufficient to indict her? What if they had indicted her? Is this the same Peters? He wasn't part of the interview of Secretary Clinton, was he?
He was present for the interview.
Is anybody seeing the problem here?
I certainly do.
So you have Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, who are members of the Russia investigation. They're investigating Trump. They've investigated Hillary. Peter Strzok has deliberately put the researching the laptop on the back burner. Peter Strzok was also there when they were investigating Hillary regarding her laptop. By the way, they both have clear bias when it comes to Trump winning. Like, he can't even think of one person voting for Trump. Like,
I wonder if they even looked at that laptop for more than like a minute and just wrote down on the forms, laptop fully investigated, nothing incriminating found.
Probably. It does make you wonder if Hillary's email server investigation, if we should redo it, or should we just go special counsel on it? But that'll be interesting.
At this point, they should do special counsel, like a whole new team.
Yeah, I'd be in support of that. And yeah, I do think that Rod Rosenstein needs to go. Just reading out a couple of things in chat. I bet he gets this up on the wrist. People can change their minds, but I wouldn't trust Rosenstein. I wouldn't trust him either. And someone wrote is also Mercy. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce your man. Sorry, man. Also wrote Lisa Page with a throw up emoji. So let's keep going.
Huh. So 4 months before that interview where he was present, he's got her running and winning 100 million to 0. And it's the same Peter Strzok who wrote The Bigoted Nonsense of Trump. Trump's a disaster. I have no idea how destabilizing his presidency would be. He wrote F Trump. Trump is an effing idiot. On the prospects of Trump winning, he wrote, this is an effing terrifying. In addition to seeming to like the F word, I think we have the same FBI agent, Lisa Page, and the same FBI agent, Peter Strzok, working on the Clinton email investigation, the Russia probe, and on Mueller's team. So we have the right text and we got the right people. I want to make sure we have the chronology right. July 5th, 2016, Comey announces no charges for Secretary Clinton, right?
Correct.
July 28th, 2016, the FBI initiates a counterintelligence investigation into Russia and the Trump campaign. And Strzok is not only on that Russia investigatory team, he's actually leading it. So that's 3 weeks after Clinton is exonerated by Comey. Strzok is leading an investigation into Russia and possible connections with the Trump campaign. That's on the 28th of July. Now on the 31st of July, 3 days after the Russia investigation began, Strzok wrote, "Damn, this feels momentous." The other one did too, but this was to ensure we didn't F things up. This one matters because it matters. And if you happen to not know how important it is, he went ahead and put matters in all caps in case you happen to not focus on the importance of why this matters. Now, her investigation was just to make sure they didn't F things up. This one, we're 3 days into it, Inspector General Horowitz. 3 days into an investigation, but this one really matters. I wonder what he meant by saying the purpose of the Clinton investigation was to make sure they didn't F things up. But the Russia investigation, nah, that one was different. That one really mattered. You know, it almost sounds, Inspector General Horowitz, like they were going through the motions with the Clinton investigation. But boy, they sure were excited about the Russia one. Then we get
That's weird, that, isn't it? Like, you know, that's just weird how that happened, isn't it? What do you reckon? Weird?
Oh, yeah. I love how all of this is coming out now.
Oh, yeah.
This is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this...
It took a little too long. But, yeah.
but this matters. And in case no one's realizing, I'm going to write matters in all caps. Like, really does make it seem like the Hillary one was... just so they didn't F things up. It seems like they wanted to just, like he said, go through the emotions just in case, you know, Trump wins or she wins. They can't then turn around at a later date and say, you didn't investigate her properly. You didn't even investigate her. They can then turn around and say, yes, we did. We found nothing. It's like they didn't really want to find anything. It's weird.
Or maybe they find things and remove them to protect her.
Like, it's not like these guys that are leading this investigation. Hillary. Oh wait, they are. So it's kind of weird like that, isn't it? Let's keep going.
Get to August 6th. This is less than 10 days after the Russia investigation begins, and Page says, you are meant to protect the country from that menace. And then we get to August 8th, 2016. Less than 2 weeks after the Russia investigation even began, the lead FBI agent says he will stop Trump from becoming president. This is 2 weeks into an investigation. And he's already prejudged the outcome. And we're somehow supposed to believe that that bias was not outcome determinative. I can't think of anything more outcome determinative than my bias against this person I'm investigating with only 2 weeks worth of investigating. I have already concluded he should not be the president of the United States. And then we get to August 15th, just over 2 weeks into the Russia investigation. Strzok says, I want to believe the path you threw out, that there's no way he gets elected, but I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy. Mr. Inspector General, that is 2 weeks into an investigation, and he is talking about taking out an insurance policy because he can't fathom the target of his investigation possibly becoming the president.
Wow. Makes you wonder what kind of insurance policy they had, doesn't it? Like...
Yeah, what was it? Voter fraud?
No. But funny enough, and it's something that Trey Gowdy doesn't actually put together in this, and I don't know if that was deliberate or not, but after this, you know, it really does make you wonder if that special counsel investigation is nothing more than a insurance policy.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the no, he's not going to be president, we'll stop it. What do you think the it is in that phrase, we'll stop it?
Oh, I think it's clear from the context. It's we're going to stop him from becoming president.
That's what I thought, too. Now, I wonder who the we is in the we'll stop it. Who do you think the we is?
Well, I think that's probably subject to multiple interpretations.
We'll see
whether
if we
we
can
is
go
the
through a
two
couple
of
of
them,
them.
or the broader, or a broader
it's not.
group beyond that.
I mean, it's hard to fathom a definition of we that doesn't include him. So we know he's part of we. You could assume that the person he's talking with is FBI attorney who also happens to be working on the Russia investigation. She may be part of the we. But I wonder, Inspector General, did you find any other FBI agents or FBI attorneys who manifest any animus or bias against President Trump?
We did.
How many?
We found 3 additional FBI agents, as we detail in the report.
And were any of them working on the Russia
I'm
investigation?
sorry,
or
let me just correct. 2 agents and 1 attorney.
2 other agents, 1 other attorney. Were they working on either the Russia investigation or the Mueller probe?
I believe 2 of the 3 were, but I'd have to just double check on that.
Okay. Now, Bob Mueller was named special counsel on May the 17th, 2017. 1 day later, Mr. Horowitz, 1 day later, Peter Strzok is back on his phone texting some more. For me, in this case, I personally have a sense of unfinished business. I unleashed it with the Clinton email investigation. Now I need to fix it and finish it. Fix what?
Well, there is outlined in the report what Mr. Strzok's explanation for
Oh, I know what he
this
said.
was.
I'm
I think
asking
our
the,
view
I'm
was,
asking the guy who had a distinguished career in the Southern District of New York and had a distinguished career at the Department of Justice. Would you rather cross-examine Peter Strzok on that explanation, or would you rather direct the examination on that explanation?
probably cross-examine.
That's what I thought. How about finish it? When he said, I unleashed it, now I need to fix it and finish it. What do you think he meant by finish it?
I think in the context of the emails that occurred in August and the prior August that you outlined, I think a reasonable explanation of it, or a reasonable inference of that, is that he believed he would use or potentially use his official authority to take action.
But this is 24 hours into him being put on the Mueller probe. There's no way he possibly could have prejudged the outcome of the investigation. Maybe he did. Maybe that's the outcome determinative bias that my Democrat friends have such a hard time finding. Inspector General Horowitz, if one of your investigators talked about Lisa Page and Peter Strzok the way they talked about Donald Trump, would you have left them on the IG investigation?
No.
Did you ever have an agent when you were a prosecutor with this level of bias?
You know, as I've laid out here, I thought this was completely antithetical to the core values of the department and extremely serious.
Can you speak up, please?
I'm sorry.
I heard you, but you can say it where Mr. Nadler can hear you too.
You know, my view of this was that this was extremely serious, completely antithetical to the core values. In my personal view, having been a prosecutor and worked with FBI agents, I can't imagine FBI agents suggesting even that they might use their powers to investigate, frankly, any candidate for any office.
Well, I can't either. And let me ask you this in conclusion. I think you've already, you laid out in your opening that Peter Strzok's obsession with Donald Trump and the Russia investigation may have led him to take his eyes off of the Wiener laptop and in a notably ironic way caused Jim Comey to be a little bit later in sending those letters to Congress. So that is one example of outcome determinative bias. But I got to ask you, you used to be in a courtroom. You were on the side of the United States and you worked for the Department of Justice. If someone is prejudging the outcome of an investigation before it ends, and someone is prejudging the outcome of an investigation before it even begins, what is more textbook bias than prejudging this investigation before it's over and this one before it begins? I am struggling to find a better example of outcome determinative bias than that. So what am I missing?
Well, I think certainly with regard to the Russia investigation you mentioned, as you know, we are looking at that in an ongoing way. With regard to the Clinton email investigation, I think as we lay out here and go through it, we looked at text messages, emails, documents to try and assess whether the specific decisions that we were asked to look at and then the ultimate prosecutorial decision were impacted by Strzok, Page, and the others' views. And what we ended up finding, particularly as to the prosecutor's decision, was that was a decision they made exercising their discretion on their view of the policy, the law, and the facts as it was found. We've laid that out, and in our view, we didn't find or see evidence that the prosecutors were impacted by that bias. But as I mentioned in my opening statement, the idea here was to put out the facts for the public, members of Congress to see, and so that folks who want to take a look at those issues obviously can assess them themselves.
Well, my time is up. I hope one of my other colleagues will explore that, because the explanation I've heard is that the failure to prosecute was predicated upon their belief that there was not sufficient evidence of intent on her behalf. And I don't know where in the hell you would go to find better evidence of intent than interviewing the person who actually was doing the intending. And when you make up your mind that you're not going to charge someone, and you make up your mind that you need to not go in loaded for bear, and then you read the 302 and there's not a single damn question on intent, it is really hard for those of us who used to do this for a living to not conclude they'd made up their mind on intent before they even bothered to talk to the single best repository of intent evidence, which would be her. With that, I would recognize
Mr. Chairman.
Right, yeah. So there's a lot to unpack in that. But yeah, definitely looking like the FBI's officers and DOJ's officers were clearly biased. People that were biased towards Hillary Clinton were a part of her investigation, which in itself I find extremely worrying. How do you go through and investigate someone that you are actually secretly rooting for, so to speak? And they also, these same people that are extremely biased against Trump were then involved in the Russia probe, or Russia investigation, or Mueller investigation. That in itself to me is also extremely worrying. But yeah. Thoughts, mate? What are your thoughts on this satellite? What do you...
Well, here's the thing. I can understand that everybody has their own opinion. You know, this is just human nature. So anyone who working on the police force can secretly, you know, for example, be an Antifa supporter, all these sort of things. You can't remove the human element from anything. And yes, I am being a little bit of a devil's advocate here on this. But the thing is that there's a difference between having a personal opinion and doing your job. And clearly, I don't see a separation here. They're not doing their job properly. They are allowing their personal opinions to interfere with their work and to actually even secretly conspire to work against the system that they want to actually serve.
Yeah, there's, as someone has just said this in chat, there's infiltration of the FBI, no doubt. Yeah, I totally agree. The fact is that from everything that we're seeing here, this is the deep state. This is Trump having to hook a pump up to the swamp, so to speak, and drain it truckload at a time. He is making progress, yes. But I think this is something that's going to take even more than 2 terms. And there's also rumours that Trump won't be running for a second term. I'd like to talk about that one day, but we've still got Maxine to talk about yet at the moment. And producer has said in the chat, we could have a joint task force finding Paddock with FBI, NSA, or ATF, but no, our president apparently is public enemy number 1. Yeah, exactly. This is the thing with, like what producer's saying, that they're too busy running around investigating this Russiagate conspiracy theory, myth, whatever you want to call it, and not worrying about the real threats. They're not worrying about Antifa or Paddock or, you know, or Islamicists or whatever it may be that's a threat to the United States or to our allies. It's a case of, look, something shiny. I won't pay attention to the other things while I'm looking at this shiny ball, so to speak.
Yeah, it's like I said, like they're allowing their personal lives and opinions. These people obviously must know each other for a very long time.
Mm.
They live in an echo chamber. That's most likely part of it.
Mm.
I don't know. I will admit, if I was in the FBI, I would have my own opinions. You know, I'd be like, go Trump.
Yeah, you can't remove your bias.
I
Yes.
would know. But I know that when I walk through the front door, that I have to do my job and serve the country.
And that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're
But these
supposed to
people
be.
clearly can't do it.
No. It's Trump derangement syndrome. How many Trump supporters in the FBI do you think there and sat there and thought, Hillary's going to win this election. We've got to do whatever we can to stop it. We need an insurance policy. Can you imagine if it came out that a Trump supporter said that?
Oh my
Holy
God.
shit, the left would be losing their mind right now.
I'm just wondering, is the mainstream media isn't covering this at all? Like what we are just covering right now?
No, it's funny because the moment this all started happening, they got really, really worried about children on the border.
Ah. Okay.
It's just, it's weird how these two stories came out at the same. Well, this came out first, and then the children. Think of the children came out the next day and diverted attention away from all this.
Yeah. So it's like, oh my God, something really bad. Hey, look, squirrels.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny how that always seems to happen sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last story for the night, guys, and we'll probably wrap it up after that because I want to go and take to my modem with a baseball bat. Maxine Waters lashes out, if you shoot me, you better shoot straight. So, Representative Maxine Waters is blaming a series of death threats on comments made by President Donald Trump over Twitter following her call for last weekend for the public to form into the mobs and physically confront members of the Trump administration. Quote, if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, gasoline station, you get out, you create a crowd, and you push back on them. And then you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere, Walters said. So, addressing the crowd in Los Angeles on Saturday, Walters, 79, packaged the entire of her detractors into the same category, would-be KKK assassins in the same breath, and then insinuated that if they don't successfully take her out, she would become like a wounded animal. I thought she was already deranged, but anyway, we'll keep moving. I don't know what those are who are talking about Sorry? I know that there are those who are talking about censoring me, talking about kicking me out of Congress, okay. So, sorry guys, yeah, been a long day. I know there are those who are talking about censoring me, talking about kicking me out of Congress, taking me out, shooting me, and talking about hanging me, Waters told the crowd in LA. So, I haven't heard anyone talking about hanging her or shooting her. I've heard people say that she might be resigning from Congress because she doesn't hold a seat anymore. But I think this is more hype. Quote, all I have to say is if you shoot me, you better shoot straight. There's nothing like a wounded animal. In response to Walters' court action last week, President Trump tweeted on Monday that Congressman Maxine Waters, an extraordinarily low IQ person, has become altogether with Nancy Pelosi the face of the Democratic Party. She's just called to harm the supporters, blah, 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 blah. All right. I don't think anyone wants to shoot Maxine Waters. To be honest, I kind of like Mad Maxine, yeah. I kind of like Mad Maxine exactly where she is because she is the face of the Democratic Party. And if she's going to get shot by anybody, I'd imagine it would be her own team. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Maxine Waters being the face of the Democratic Party. I think it's actually quite beneficial for Trump. And
yeah,
like you look at
the
it,
crazies up there.
Yeah, you look at it and you think you're bonkers. I'm voting for the other guy. So you know that is obviously going to help them, or help Trump anyway. So yeah, I don't know why the Trump supporters would be wanting to hang her or kill her or anything like that. I'm thinking she's a little deranged. But what are your thoughts, mate? What do you reckon?
Yeah, keep the crazy lady at the top there, so that it pushes more people over to the Republicans.
True. Yeah, true. Like they say, they are the face
if you're
of.
Gonna do anything, if you're gonna do anything to her, buy her cats. I think she's gonna need them.
Turn her into the crazy cat lady.
Yeah, get her kittens.
Yeah, kittens, not kids. Yeah, well, God, can you imagine her having kids? Oh God. Anyway, but guys, yeah. Apart from that, look. Sorry about my internet playing up tonight. I have no idea what's going on with it. I'm about to take it out the back and beat it. I'm joking, YouTube. Okay, relax. But apart from that,
take the router out to the shed.
Yeah, yeah. But guys, like I say, apart from that, look, obviously thanks everybody that has supported the channels over the past 18 months. We did hit over 1,500 subs. I did put a tweet out about it. We do now have censorship. We've always had that. We do now obviously have super chats, and we also do have obviously advertising revenue. Although, funny enough, my videos are around 90% demonetized as soon as they go up. I have no idea why. My mum thinks I'm advertiser friendly, so YouTube maybe should take lessons. Apart from that, guys, obviously Satellite's obviously link to this Discord will be in the description, or it's in the description below. Obviously link to his BitChute as well. Apart from that, is there anything else you want to say there, Seth? Got anything you wanted to show?
No.
No? No siege or anything like that you want to shell out? Apart from that, guys, look.
You both know you'd talk over me if I did that.
But apart from that, guys, look, obviously, look, who knows? Maybe for my for 2,000 subs, I might read Siege online. I don't know. But guys, apart from that, look, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment description below. Sorry if the internet was playing up. I give your mum a hug. Thanks, I will. Mother's Day's coming up soon. I should buy her flowers, chocolates, or something, I suppose. But apart from that, guys, obviously, if this video has been helpful, please don't forget to smack that like button. It does obviously mean a lot to us. Doesn't mean a lot to YouTube, but it means a lot to us. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the videos that will get put up roughly in about 36 hours. I won't do any today or later today, but I'll be definitely doing some tomorrow. So in about 36 hours, the videos will be going up, and it'll give me a chance to play some Star Citizen between now and then. Apart from that, guys, thank you very much, everybody, tuning in. Thanks, Satellite, obviously, for jumping in. And apart from that, guys, have a good night. Enjoy, guys.